Hello, this is Charlie from Tropical Birding and welcome to this video trip report from my recent Thailand birding trip. Going to start with a picture of the bird of the extension, the white-crowned hornbill, quite a special bird, and more about that later. As always, let's take a quick look at the Tropical Birding website. Here there's lots of nice photos to look at and some important information about the tour. It's got a map there, the price, dates for next year, so take a look at that. Here's a map of Thailand, large country in Southeast Asia. I love it so much I moved here. Just a fantastic place to spend time and to do some birding. We start the tour just outside Bangkok near Suvarnabhumi International Airport, and we have a very nice hotel nearby. From here we drive west to a place called Samut and Khao birdwatching centre. This was a famous place for one of the starbirds of the tour, the Spoon-billed Sandpiper. So we took our first stab at that. This is a large area of salt farms. It's almost like a rice field, but they flatten it and pump seawater in, and then they let that water evaporate off and scrape off the salt. It's a big industry in the area, and it's also quite a valuable habitat for shorebirds. Even though there's only one or two spoon-billed sandpipers left here, they've devoted a whole birding centre there and the big murals on the walls that people are very proud of these very special birds. We didn't actually find it this day, but we did see a lot of other cool shorebirds. From here we drove on to Phetchaburi province and Lempak Biar. Here we stayed in a rather lovely hotel right on the coast. I rather like my room. I took a little video of it. Right with a beautiful sea view there. It's got a nice swimming pool, very nice air-conditioned rooms, which you need because it's so hot during the day. That afternoon we took a boat ride to a sandspit, the Lempak Biar Sandspit, fantastic area for birding. A local guide took us out in his boat, actually two boats, Mr. Dang, and yeah, we had a wonderful first afternoon. This was our main target there, the Malaysian plover, but we did see a lot of other cool shorebirds too. The next morning we went up the coast a little bit to a place called Pak Thaler, which has become very famous for the spoon-billed sandpiper. There's huge numbers of shorebirds here. I mean, it's really spectacular. Thousands and thousands. Sometimes you'll get a peregrine falcon flying over or something like that, and these things just go up in huge flocks. So yeah, got a little bit of video footage of that. And here's scanning through the birds on the salt pans. I mean, thousands and thousands, tens of thousands of birds. And you've got to try and find the one or two spoon-billed sandpipers amongst those. It's quite tough. But with the help of a local guide, we managed to track down our target, the spoon-billed sandpiper. Don't know if you can make it out there at the back. It's got a kind of shoveling, feeding behaviour. This is a critically endangered species, very, very few left. So yeah, real privilege to see. The local guide was even selling spoon-billed sandpiper t-shirts, and all this money goes towards local conservation effort. From the coast, we head inland to a place called Maka Nature Lodge. Fantastic place, one of my favourite places to stay in the world. Outside the Krachan National Park, or Krachan National Park, there are several blinds set up for photography, and on the first afternoon we headed to one of those blinds. These are fantastic places. They're made for bird photography, but they're great just for birders as well. You see a whole lot of very cool birds. This is a racket-tailed tree pie, beautiful blue eyes. Good for mammals as well, several squirrel species. This is the northern tree shrew. Looks like a squirrel, but is actually not. Other common birds, white-rumped shammers. This one singing here. Let me put a bit of sound on. Here we got an emerald dove coming down to drink. Great place for partridges and pheasants. This is a scaly-breasted partridge, intricately patterned. This is a Hainan blue flycatcher. Quite a few flycatchers that come down as well. These are fantastic. The white-browed scimitar babblers. Gorgeous birds. Look at that. And one of the birds that we really wanted to see was the Kalige pheasant. This is a female. And also the male came in later on and crawled up into the trees. Just watch the behavior here for a minute. He does a wonderful sort of wing whir. There he goes. A lot of other cool birds. A few different species of drongos. This is the bronze drongo, lovely iridescence. And these wild ancestors of the modern day chicken, the red jungle fowl, here scratching around looking for food, as well as having a bathing pool there. They sprinkle around food for the birds, so these are feeding on some grain. The next morning we went into the Krachan National Park and explored the lower sections. A local guide tracked down a chick of a spot-bellied eagle owl. Took quite a while to find, but that was a real treat. Not a bird that's regularly seen there. Saw some other great birds like crested serpent eagle, another day roost of an owl, the white-fronted scops owl, real specialty in the park. In the afternoon we drove out of the park and went to a different blind this time, and here you can see the owner of the blind setting it up, spraying it all down, cleaning the water, putting all his food down, ready for the show. And on the second day we saw some of the same birds, but some different ones too. This is the puff-throated babbler here, very cute. Lots of laughing thrushes, both lesser necklaced and greater necklace laughing thrushes. A different partridge, this is the bar-backed partridge, very beautiful. And other mammals as well. We had the lesser oriental chevrotain, or lesser mouse deer, very cute. This male has fangs. The next morning we went back into the park, but this time explored the upper section called the Panuntung campsite area. Saw some great birds in there, like this blue-throated barbet, seemed to be excavating a nest hole. And some other big targets like the great hornbill. Actually saw 4 species of hornbill in the park. It's a really good place for them. This is the view from the top, looking over the gorgeous forest there. It's quite a rough road to the top, so we use a local driver who knows it very well. So there's a bit of footage of us going back down. On the way out we added another mammal, the stump-tailed macaque. Here's a female with a young one. They are found in huge groups. It can be 50 individuals or more. Some other cool things we saw in the park. Great slaty woodpecker, largest woodpecker in the world. Gorgeous bird. The next day we moved on and stopped in at a place called Nong Pla Lai. It's an area of rice fields that's become quite famous for raptors. We also had this cool white-throated kingfisher. I seem to have caught a freshwater crab that's giving it a good whack. Got quite a few raptors here, including a really close flyby of greater spotted eagle. From here we had a long drive up to our next site of Khao National Park, but we stopped in at a temple called Pra Puttapat Noi, which is quite a famous area for one of Thailand's 2 geopolitical endemics. This is what the area looks like. It's a temple set into limestone cliffs, and this limestone forest is really unique. And here we track down this bird called the rufous limestone babbler. Hops around on the rocks. Took a while to come in, but we got great views in the end. And from there we moved on to Khao National Park, where we spent 3 nights. I had 2 full days inside the park. A lot of roads to explore there. The first morning was very misty, looked pretty cool. Same type of forest at Krachan, semi-evergreen rainforest. A lot of large trees, spectacular birds, lots of hornbills. Several species of broadbill in the park. These are very special birds. This is the silver-breasted broadbill. Nice trogons as well, red-headed trogon. This here is a female. Also got great views of this collared owlet. One of the most visible residents of the park are these northern pigtail macaques, and they've become quite badly behaved because people often try and feed them, so they get quite naughty. Got another broadbill, banded broadbill, more great views. And this was a real treat. Actually, the first time I've seen them in the park. Right at the headquarters, somebody spotted them swimming in the small creek there. And we watched them for about half an hour. Here they go, heading back in. Beautiful animals. So yeah, quite a good park for mammals. This is another thing we were looking for, the Asian elephant. We didn't actually find one. This is about as close as we got. Oh, we were actually missed one by about 5 minutes. But yeah, that's just a matter of luck. But yeah, this was quite a cool sign. We were very lucky after we had that spot-bellied eagle owl. There also happened to be a buffy fish owl that had just recently left the nest, so we managed to get that bird as well. This is the adult here. One of the afternoons we went to a lake at around 5 p.m. Check this out. This is called the brown-backed needletail. Huge swift, one of the fastest flying birds in the world. I took this in slow motion. And they show up at this small lake and they fly round and round, and then they dip into the water or scoop some up to drink. Fascinating type of birding. We also went to a spot to wait for some nightjars at dusk, and just at that time this family of East Asian porcupines came out and ran across the road in front of us, which was fantastic. Check out this baby, so cute. So that was a real treat. And we saw the nightjar as well, the great-eared nightjar. The next day, more exploration in the park. It's a great place to see chestnut-headed bee-eaters. Got some great photos of those. Got to put the sound on for this. Check this out. This is a La gibbon. Just incredible. Yeah, very easy to hear, but not always easy to find. But we had one just hanging there. Yeah, awesome. Minivets, many minivet species. There's the rosy minivet, mustached barbet. This was a big target, called the banded kingfisher. It's not a great video, it's digiscoped, but look at how it's sort of raising its crest up and down. One last thing we checked out in this area was a bat cave. It was a birding tour, but everybody was quite up for going to watch these bats. Actually, millions. I think there's a couple of million wrinkle-lipped bats coming out of this cave. So check this out. In a sort of unbroken ribbon for probably 20 or 30 minutes. Just thousands and thousands of bats at a time. It was just incredible. And there was raptors coming in, there was grey-faced buzzards swooping down, Eurasian kestrels, shikras all coming and trying to grab bats. So it was quite a scene. Yeah, so that was a real highlight. And when we had dinner here at this beautiful restaurant called Bat Tails, when we were leaving Khao, we actually had this Asian barred owlet hopping around in a tree outside the hotel. From Khao, we drove first west and then north up to Thailand's largest freshwater lake called Bung Boret. Really good place for water birds. The first afternoon we went to bird a little bit next to the lake. Very lucky to see this ruddy-breasted crake. Lots of other nice birds there, yellow-bellied prinias. Another crake species, the white-browed crake. This is a little bit more difficult. It took us quite a while to spot, but one of our eagle-eyed clients found it in the end. This is a statue of a bird called the white-eyed river martin. It was discovered several decades ago, and pretty soon after it was discovered, it was lost. It was never seen again, so that's almost certainly extinct now. But it was an endemic to Thailand, very similar to the African river martin, but yeah, very sad story. We took a boat ride the next morning. A lot of people use the lake for fishing. We saw thousands of ducks out there, mainly gargany, huge flocks. It was very, very cool. And we also found this incredibly rare duck, another critically endangered species called the Byers pochard. And there was only one that had turned up. There's probably under 100 individuals of this bird. It's very, very rare. So that was another real treat. Lots of other good birds, including these grey-headed swamp hens. Bung Boret is sort of a halfway spot on the way to the north of Thailand, up to Chiang Mai, where I live. And one of the top birding sites there is called Doi Inthanon, which is the highest mountain in Thailand. Fantastic birding up there. This is sometimes known as the Doi Inthanon sunbird, or green-tailed sunbird. It's an endemic subspecies that may be split. Very beautiful. And lots of other nice birds up there, like this chestnut-tailed minler, very confiding. We got these velvet-fronted nuthatches, and at a lunch stop we found this normally very shy and difficult to see bird called the slaty-backed forktail. Just gorgeous. The local guide knew where a nest of a Hodgson's frogmouth was. Incredibly well camouflaged birds. They look a bit like a dead stump. But yeah, this was nesting in the same place as last year, so that was another great opportunity. There was also a feeding site, a place where people have been putting down mealworms, and we went down this steep hill and had some great views of birds down there. This is the Himalayan shortwing, large nil tava, type of flycatcher, blue whistling thrush. Also checked out a waterfall called Wachiratan Waterfall, another good place for birding. On the final morning we went to a viewing platform just outside the park where we saw the beautiful blossom-headed parakeet. After leaving Doi Inthanon, we drove north through Chiang Mai, and which is where our local guide was from as well, at Uich. And yeah, he found us this day roosting brown bubuk, another owl for our list. A little bit north of Chiang Mai, as we'd missed wild elephants in Khao Yai National Park, we stopped in at a kind of like a sanctuary for retired domesticated elephants, working elephants, kept in very nice condition. So one lady on the tour particularly was very keen to see these, so that was nice. We also stopped in at a place called mythical, where there was a couple of very rare birds called the long-billed plovers. Next on to a place called Chiang, where we had some great birding. This is one of the specialties there, the pin-tailed green pigeon. And we also had nice views of greater rack-tailed drongo. This is a picture from the top of the temple there. It's built into a cave. Very cool place. Driving north, we also managed to find these tree swifts perched on some wires. This is called the crested tree swift. We drove up to the town of Phang, and we stayed here for a couple of nights in a beautiful lodge. That was another. It's great accommodation on this tour. It's really, really nice. But yeah, this place was particularly nice. This whole area is just covered in rice fields, so we went out to bird some of the rice fields. Had really nice views of a pied harrier male here. Beautiful raptor. Phang makes a good base to explore a local birding hotspot called Doi Ang Kang. It's right on the Myanmar border and just has some fantastic birding there. This is quite high elevation, gets up to about 2,000 meters. So yeah, high elevation Himalayan birds. This is the striated bulbul, golden-throated barbet, feeding on some berries. Another beautiful sunbird called Mrs. Gould's sunbird, quite similar to the green-tailed we saw before. And this is another gorgeous bird. There's such good birds around here. It's called the silver-eared Mysia. This was a site on the Myanmar border, and we actually looked over into Myanmar and spotted a few birds to kickstart our Myanmar lists. Here you can see the barbed wire, but it's a safe place to visit. It's kind of like a tourist place, and you can stand right on the border looking into Myanmar. Another big birding site nearby is called Doi Lang. Another place on the Myanmar border with similar birds, but different specialties. This is one of the birds that we were looking for, called the spot-breasted parrotbill. I'll put the sound on for this. Yeah, it came right in and gave us a great show. We also saw what's probably my favourite bird in Thailand, the scarlet-faced leocichla, a type of laughing thrush, sort of olive-coloured with just a bright red face. This was coming to a feeding site there, and some other people had missed it, so yeah, we were really happy to get them. There's a few other spots there, feeding sites set up by Thai bird photographers with some beautiful birds. It's called the rufous-bellied niltava. Bit of regular birding as well, and we got another parrotbill called the grey-headed parrotbill, quite a rare bird. From Doi Lang, we went down to the town of Ban Taton on the banks of the Mekong River, and this is a tributary of the Mekong. Another nice area for open country and water birds. We stayed in a beautiful lodge and a breakfast. This was the site that we were greeted to, and yeah, we had a nice bit of birding before we left. The last site of the main tour was a place called Chiang. We've birded the Myanmar border. This is on the border with Laos, and we could actually stop here and scan across, and we got a bird for our Laos list. So we got eBird checklists from 3 different countries on this tour. We'd seen so many birds by this point, it was kind of hard to get any more, but we still managed probably about 5 new species on this final morning. One of them was the Indian spot-billed duck. And that was the end of the tour. We flew back from Chiang Rai down to Bangkok and Suvarnabhumi International Airport, where we said goodbye to several people in the group. But some of us decided to go on and take part in the southern extension. The next morning we flew down from Suvarnabhumi to Phuket, big island there, famous, world famous with beach lovers, but we weren't going to hit the beach. Instead, we drove straight up to a place called Aupanga. It's only about an hour away, and this place is famous for mangroves. They have a wonderful boardwalk through the mangrove there. There's some pretty special birds there. This is our main target, the mangrove pitta. One particular person on the tour was very, very keen to see pittas. This is our first pitta that we'd seen on the trip. And just gorgeous. It showed really well. This is a viewing tower out in the Aupanga National Park. We're looking over a river, and from here we saw our first brown-winged kingfisher, huge, spectacular kingfisher. Also got a common kingfisher there. The next morning we birded a park next to our hotel called the Somdet Pra Sinagarinda Park. Easy for me to say. And it had some amazing birds for like a town park. It was incredible. It even got a new mammal for the tour. It's called the lesser short-nosed fruit bat, which I managed to find in a cave. We got this spectacular white-bellied sea eagle after we got into the park. Very common orange-bellied flower pecker. Some naughty monkeys fighting with each other. And this is another big target for some people, a black and red broadbill vocalizing there. After Aupanga, we headed north, and our next birding location was Sipanga National Park, kind of a similar name. Fantastic birding, really, really spectacular stuff. And here, this was our main target, the Malayan banded pitta. This here is a male. And here's a female, very beautiful too. One of the rangers had a frogmouth staked out, the Gould's frogmouth, meaning that we'd seen 2 frogmouths on day roosts. Yeah, very lucky. And he also had a nest of brown wood owl. These chicks had just left the nest, and he took us straight to see them. So we did incredibly well on owls on this trip. I think we got 8 species seen, which is just awesome. Here's the adult as well. And then at a local temple, they'd made another blind at a water feature. And we saw loads of good birds here. It was amazing. It's a pinstriped tit babbler, striped-throated bulbul, another one here, black-crested bulbul, black-headed bulbul, more white eyes. And this is this very entrepreneurial ranger who took us around some beautiful bamboo forest as well there. This is me and the ranger. We were actually staying at a place called Khao National Park, and although the birding's in general not quite as good as Sipanga, it is home to this bird, which was voted, as I said before, bird of the extension, the white-crowned hornbill. And we had incredible views. They were rather tame, a lot of tourists there, so they were quite accustomed to people, and we were almost stood right below them. And this is an endangered species, and we saw them really well. We did have a morning inside Khao National Park as well, where we saw a few nice things. This is a forest garden lizard. After leaving Khao Sok, we had quite a drive, and we went to the other side of the peninsula to a place called Krachan Waterfall. No good accommodation nearby, but we found a wonderful place about an hour's drive away with fantastic coffee, early breakfast, delicious pizzas. Yeah, it was wonderful. Really great addition to the tour. This was my room, really nice and spacious. Actually had a tree growing in it, a live tree. Check that out. And then this is us walking through the beautiful rainforest in Krachan. High quality birds, not an easy habitat to bird in. Every bird is sometimes a struggle, but we got some really good birds, and it was a great way to end the trip. As well as some great birds, we saw a lot of other cool wildlife. This is a Southeast Asian water monitor. Black giant squirrel, largest squirrel in the world. And there was even an abandoned cabin that we poked around in and got some more short-nosed fruit bats and this wonderful Cambodian flying gecko, which is quite cool. I'll just finish by showing you the eBird trip report, and this is linked below. We did very well on the tour. We got over 500 species, which is always a big target for the guide. But yeah, look how many species we photographed. Almost half the species were photographed. But more than that, I mean, we just had a fantastic time. It was a great group. Everybody got on really well. Lots of laughs, lots of great food. Everybody was pretty enamored with Thailand. I also link the my iNaturalist page here with some things that we saw. Great herbs, great mammals, interesting plants, insects, even got several interesting fish. So yeah, check out that link as well to iNaturalist. I hope you enjoyed this video trip report, and I hope to see you on a Thailand birding trip one of these days. Take care. All the best.